we might be doing physical space. I think there's a new way to kind of use physical space in every domain. With the rise of the sharing economy, we are witnessing that the space itself is shared, but it's still kind of specific to a function. And I was thinking it doesn't have to be. This idea just kind of hit me. I've seen kind of innovations like the one that is displayed on the screen. This seems like some kind of a Ori device being manufactured or designed at MIT. I can't pronounce this name. Um, but basically, it's self-adjusting, reconfiguring furniture. And I hope it's okay to share this. Hope they don't sue me. So this lady, she just got out of the bed, and as you can see, she pushes a button, and the furniture goes in, or the bed. I don't know why she's smiling to herself, but that's cool. So this is just a snapshot of what can be powered with such designs. Now, this is in a very small kind of location in terms of a small apartment, which is like again fixed to the function. But if you kind of imagine, so what I was kind of imagining was I work from a couple of different co-working locations, and for those who may not know, a co-working location is somewhere you'd go to work, um, you pay rent, and the facility allows you to make use of the space. So you can use like obviously the furniture, the internet. Usually they have coffee, tea, stuff like that. And basically, it's a way to kind of get out of the house and go meet some people and get work done. Quite simple. So what I was thinking though was that I've got a couple ideas or thoughts around co-working space, but anyway, so I'll get to the idea. I'm thinking that there's a whole bunch of space around the city, and there seems to be this Airbnb kind of a move in order to make use of that space. So we're kind of seeing we're seeing the even Airbnb is doing that. I think in terms of event spaces and how they can be booked, and there's a whole bunch of different tools. But this is not what that idea is about. This idea is about making use of space around the city by reconfiguring it. There's a whole bunch of ways this can evolve. So here's what I'm thinking. Like there's so much space that's not being put to use. And I think with the rise in automation, more and more individuals will be going the route of entrepreneurship, which entails that potentially speaking, we may need we may have the need for more co-working spaces and more need for events of all types in general. And by and large, as a culture, as a society, what's happened is that we've made buildings very function specific. So here's my radical idea for how to change that after having just witnessed what you just did in terms of spaces that can kind of reconfigure themselves. And again, this is just a snapshot. But what I was thinking was, so imagine, we'll use an example. So imagine there's a multi-denomination church. There's people from different religions or no religion that use this facility for congregation, events of different types. But that these events usually happen during certain times of the evening or perhaps the weekend. and that this space is largely empty throughout the day. So perhaps sometimes used for corporate events and whatnot. Again, this could be a whole category of buildings. So you kind of do a survey of the different buildings and the times then when they're not utilized. So they're severely underutilized under some instances. And what could then happen is that the space would reconfigure itself based on the need. And the time that is not in use, it can be retrofitted as a co-working location. Here's, I think, how this idea could work. So going back, like this is a multi-denomination church, and say from Monday to Friday, this place is completely empty from 10 a.m. in the morning till 7 p.m. at night or 6 p.m. In the evening. So for a good 8 hours, it's completely empty. It's wide open for anyone to come in, use it. Now, the operator doesn't have a lot of like kind of revenue in order to be able to hire somebody to come and move the furniture and whatnot. So here's how I think this idea could work. So if you have a wide open space, it's a building with a room or a couple of rooms. What you'd first do is you'd put a whole bunch of cameras up there powered by machine vision. And machine vision, for those who don't know, is just the machine's ability to be able to see. And with the machine's ability to be able to see, you can build algorithms on top of it. So it's pretty simple. You can just need a webcam or any other camera, and using open source tools like OpenCV, you can again build algorithms on top in terms of if something is observed, then do something. So you can kind of incorporate that with other sensors and technology. You can even like put a sensor in there that has the ability to be able to detect. Whoops, just 1 second. My Fitbit just went off. All right. So yeah, so you could have like a biological kind of sensor that kind of detects um, like living tissue, and there's a whole bunch of things like motion detector and like stuff like that. So but basically you could build like some kind of a logic that if movement in the realm of living or non-living tissue, like even a robot like Roomba or something going around the floor is detected, then do not do certain activities. And if no such activity is detected, then lock the access points and reconfigure the furniture. So what would then happen is instead of the furniture actually taking up space here, or like how they showed in the video, like on the side or anything like that, all the furniture would be redesigned from scratch. So IKEA is going to have some work on their hands. And what's going to happen is that the furniture is going to be like kind of like folded and tucked away um, under a specific kind of storage area. So there would be like specific kind of shafts or elevators going through into the storage area, and they would kind of there would be some kind of a opening or gate in the floor, and basically through the means of some construct, so this would be some robotics or something, the the furniture would be taken and it would be arranged based on a predetermined set of conditions, or if somebody wanted, they could even pay the individual who kind of the individual, the owner that actually has access to the UI for the configuration of this tool. They could temporarily give access to somebody and for a fee, and let them arrange the furniture as they deem fit. The benefit of such a model would be that a place which was previously only um, reserved for one specific use has now been made multi-purpose. And it's been made multi-purpose in a way which completely takes out the middleman in terms of hiring somebody at that location for the sole purpose of moving furniture. Now, this idea may not be ready in its existing state today because successive cycles of robotics, building codes, perhaps municipal code, like there's some kind of regulation here. Um, at least those two things have to happen for this kind of reality to usher. But if and when this happens, we can potentially repurpose any building for our needs, and this would allow us to open up a whole bunch of real estate that is underutilized right now and make it available for specifically for entrepreneurs. I was thinking, but it could be anything. It could be, like I said, a religious congregation. Like imagine like a church, any church at that, right? I don't, I'm not religious. I don't go to the church, but I'm guessing that Monday to Friday, exception of the weddings and some other events, it's really not that busy. The time it's not busy, the furniture could go in, and a whole set of other furniture could come out, and the whole place could be a hub of activity for startups or small business festivals or some kind of a expo, and this would be a huge way to enable a new kind of shared economy. um, it's like Airbnb meets robots meets a platform for rearranging furniture to your liking or using a pre-configured set of templates. Anyway, so this idea is pretty bare bones, but it's kind of going through the different co-working spaces, and I love going to co-working spaces and trying a whole bunch of them out. But my problem is I live in Mississauga, and most of the co-working spaces are in Toronto, and it's taken me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half each way to get to where I want to be. So it adds up with everything else that I need to be doing. So I was thinking of another idea, and I started thinking, well, there's a whole bunch of space which is not utilized. This is not Airbnb where you kind of go and rent somebody's space. This is about reorganizing any space to fit your needs. And yeah, anyways, that's my idea for the day.